Good morning, Birmingham. How are you all doing? We love you, Birmingham. Mr. Hilliard.
Yes.
Good morning. How you doing?
I love you, Brother Parker.
Yes, sir. All right, we want to welcome everybody here to the regular scheduled meeting of the Birmingham City Council at 9:30 in Birmingham City Council chambers. We're going to have our invocation by Tyree Anderson, pastor of First Baptist Church, Inslee, and the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilor Hilliard. If everyone would stand.
Let us pray. Our God, who has brought us from January to this present day, we thank you for your provisions, for your protection, and for your presence. Our God, who has brought us thus far along the way, we honor you in this city council meeting. Thanking you for our leaders, thanking you for our mayor, thanking you, God, that as our city moves forward, that, God, it is inclusive and it is innovative in the work that is going on. We pray right now that you will continue to embody these leaders with wisdom. God, that you would give them a spirit to fight for the best for Birmingham. And God, most of all, that they will continue to live ethical, moral, and God, righteous lives before the people. We thank you for this day. For Lord, we thank you because we've made it to the end of another year. Thank you for the projects that have gone forth. Thank you for those that have been funded and those that are still on the way. Thank you, Lord, that you have not abandoned this city. And God, you have not abandoned our great state. We know, Lord, that you are able. So that's why we pray to you before even opening this meeting. Thank you for the opportunity to serve yet again. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All together.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Clerk.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Great,
All right,
great.
we do roll call real quick.
Okay. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning. Council Member Hilliard.
Here.
Council Member Hoyt.
Present.
Council Member O'Quinn. Good morning. Council Member Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Council Member Williams. Council Member Woods. Council Member Abbott. President Parker.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. We need approval of the minutes.
So moved.
That was Council Member
Hilliard
Hilliard
and
and Smitherman.
Councilor Smith. Yes, sir.
All righty. Voting should be open. Council President Parker, you down?
Aye.
Okay. That
Okay.
vote should be up.
All right. That item passes. Minutes are not ready for July 9th through December 17th. So we're going to move to the consent agenda real quick, Mr. Mayor, and we'll come back to you if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Clerk, could we-
The consent agenda for today starts on page 2 with items 1, 2, 3, and 4. On page 3, we have items 5, 6, 7, and 8 on consent. Page 4, we have items 9 and 11 on consent. Page 5, we have items 12, 13, and 14 on consent. Page 6, we have items 15, 16, and 17 on consent. Page 7, we have items 18, 19, and 20 on consent. Page 8, items 21, 22, 23, and 24 on consent. Page 9, we have items 25, 26, and 27 on consent. Page 10, items 28, 29, and 30 are on consent. And that concludes our consent agenda.
Okay. Are there any, one that wants to add or take off? Counselor, Dr. Quinn?
I just had a quick question about number 18, and this can remain on consent. This is in regards to the change order for the Wylam Library project. Is that to address the ADA accessibility issues? Thank you, that's what I thought.
Okay. All right. All right, anybody else add or off? Council Hort, you're good. On item 10, yeah, we're gonna delay that. Okay. All right, yes, ma'am. You need a moment to get, okay.
Just had a question. It says Arlington House flooring replacement, and I wanted to know whether that was in the main house or if that was in the building in the back where they have the dining. Main house?
Yes.
The wood flooring? The historic wood flooring? The restaurant's not in the main house. The restaurant's in a separate building out back, so it's the restaurant. Okay, that was my only question. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, all right, we're good now? Okay, Mr. Hill, you're good with the consent agenda?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, we're ready to vote. We need a motion, I think, to,
I move approval.
all right, that was Councilor Abbott and Councilor Hilliard for the consent agenda.
Need your speech. Need his intro speech.
Oh, Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
your disclaimer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was back here. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or citizen interested in a public hearing so requests. If so, such items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So that is, I think we're ready now.
Yep.
And I vote aye.
Okay, that vote should be up.
Okay, that item passes. Let's go ahead and go through the agenda. You can call up the first item, Mr. Clerk.
Let's see where we're at. Number 10? Should be 10, which is on page 4. Number 10, on page 4, a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a bold program agreement with 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance Incorporated, under which 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance Incorporated, as part of the city's Building Opportunities for Lasting Development program, will provide certain services involving building organizational capacity by joining with the Main Street Alabama and other groups to create engagement and investment in the community and establish a business office for the meetings and training, overseeing business design projects to include 5 mural and 5 facet improvements and improved small business owner signage and in commercial business district, increasing economic vitality by developing and training in a resource program that supports educational needs of the business community as well as talent and recruitment programs for the new entrepreneurs and well-established businesses, and for collecting data regarding all businesses and commercial properties in the 5 Points West Commercial Corridor for a term of 1 year and for a fee in the amount of $26,500. Motion, please.
I move approval.
All right, there's a second. Okay, that was Councilor Abbott, Councilor O'Quinn, Councilor Hort.
Yes, Mr. President, good morning to all of you, certainly to the mayor. My office is in a fact-finding mode, and we need to finish. We didn't, the holiday caught us, and so, and I think if we had a 2-week delay, that would help us to finish contacting all the business persons over there.
Is that your motion, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second it.
One second, please.
It's Council Horton, Council Parker.
All right. It's 2 weeks?
Yes.
I vote
President
aye.
Parker.
I vote aye.
Okay, that vote should be up.
Okay, all right, that item passes.
Let's see. Looks like we're to the permanent operation items. It starts with item number 31.
Can you just read all of them?
I can.
Okay, thank you.
They're all sitting hearings. Item 31, the resolution setting a public hearing January 28th to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-12, to change zone district boundaries from CB2 Contingency General Business District, B6 Health and Institutional District, to CONI Contingency Office and Institutional District, to Q D4 Medium Density District and QMUD Mixed Use Downtown, in order to allow a new mixed-use development for properties generally located around the former Caraway Hospital campus bordered by Caraway Boulevard, to east 25th Street North, to the west 20th Avenue North, to the north, and 13th Avenue North, filed by Brian Wolf, representing the owner, the Lovelady Center Incorporated, situated in the northwest quarter of Section 25, Township 17, Range 3, Birmingham. And item number 32, page 11, a resolution setting a public hearing January 28, 2020, to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-15, to change zone district boundaries from B6 Health and Institutional District to QMUD Mixed-Use Downtown, in order to allow a new mixed-use development for properties generally located around the former Caraway Hospital campus, bordered Caraway Boulevard, to the east 25th Street North, to the west 20th Avenue North, to the north, and 13th Avenue and 1547 Walnut Circle, filed by Brian Wolf, representing the owner, Paul Joseph Menserin, for the property located at 1547 Walnut Hill Circle and situated in southwest quarter of Section 24, Township 17, 3 West Birmingham. And item 33, a resolution setting a public hearing on January 28, 2020, to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-30, to change zone district boundaries from R3 Single Family District to QMUD Mixed Use Downtown, in order to allow new mixed use development for properties generally located around the former Caraway Hospital campus, bordered by the Caraway Boulevard, to the east 25th Street North, to the west 20th Avenue North, to the north, and 30th Avenue North, to the south, filed by the Birmingham City Council, for property located at 2214 5th Avenue North, 15th Avenue North, and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 36, Township 16 South, Range 2 West, Birmingham. Item 34, page 12, a resolution setting a public hearing January the 28th to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-31, to change zone district boundaries from R3 Single Family District to QMUD Mixed Use Downtown, in order to allow a new mixed use development for properties generally located around former Caraway Hospital campus, bordered by the Caraway Boulevard, to the east 25th Street North, to the west 20th Avenue North, to the north, and 13th Avenue North, to the south, filed by the Birmingham City Council, for properties located at 2212 15th Avenue North and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 36, Township 16 South, Range 2 West, Birmingham. And 35, a resolution setting a public hearing January 28, 2020, to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-32, to change zone district boundaries from R3 Single Family District to QMUD Mixed Use Downtown, in order to allow a new mixed use development for properties generally located around the former Caraway Hospital campus, bordered by the Caraway Boulevard, to the east 25th Street North, to the west 20th Avenue North, to the north, and 13th Avenue North, to the south, filed by the Birmingham City Council, filed by the Birmingham City Council by the Birmingham City Council for property located at, that should be stricken, at least one of those, located at 1500 Walnut Hill Circle and situated in northeast quarter of Section 36 Township 16 South, Range 2 West, Birmingham. And the last one, page 13, item 36, a resolution setting a public hearing January 28, 2020 to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-33, to change zone district boundaries from B6 Health and Institutional District to QMUD Mixed Use Downtown in order to allow a new mixed-use development for properties generally located around the former Caraway Hospital campus, bordered by Caraway Boulevard to the east, 25th Street North to the west, 20th Avenue North to the, and 13th Avenue North to the south, filed by the Birmingham City Council for the property located, also strike Birmingham City Council again on that synopsis, located at 1521 Walnut Hill Circle and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 36 Township 16 South, Range 2 West, Birmingham. This is the first reading of all items.
All right, here, motion.
I move approval.
Second.
First, Counselor Abbott and Counselor Smithman. Real quick before we vote, we will have another meeting to discuss several items that came up in our meeting that we had the last committee of the whole, and I think that was around Counselor Abbott and Counselor Hoyt. There was, okay, we'll have to poll everybody to make sure that dates. We'll work. I understand. We'll work through that, Mr. Mayor. Just specifically, and it'll only be around the issues that were raised in that meeting. We'll talk through everything. We'll poll everybody, get a date to see if that works. 9th, if not, we'll get some dates. We'll poll everybody, and we'll work through that. We'll work through all of that, but I just wanted to make sure it would, Counselor Abbott and Counselor Hoyt, making sure that the concerns that you had addressed, that we make sure we deal with that on our meeting that we're going to have. And that'll probably be a special committee of the whole meeting where it'll only, that probably be several other things we'll talk about, other matters. So that'll be one of probably 4 or 5 matters we deal with. I'll probably include some probably follow up on the World Games and some other items that we need to have more discussion on. So anyway, Counselor Hoyt, Counselor Abbott, you all are okay with that
Absolutely.
pathway?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, we're ready to vote.
Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
President, just a couple of little housekeeping things.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
we fix on all 5 of those, well, no, 4 of the 5 resolutions, we had a misspelled word. It says boarded and bordered by Caraway Boulevard instead of bordered.
Madam Councilor, is that all 5 resolutions or the synopsis?
The
I'm just
synopsis, just the
Okay,
synopsis.
let's make sure that's,
But just make sure that it's
not in the
right, it's
resolution.
correct on the first one, but then all the 4 after that have it spelled incorrectly. And then the last 2, of course, have filed by the Birmingham City Council in there twice. I think you found that.
yes, ma'am.
But just to make sure that our records look like we know what
Right.
we're doing.
We'll
Thank
look in the resolutions themselves, make sure that's not there.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, we're good now? Okay. All right, Mr. Clerk. And I vote aye.
Okay, the vote should be,
Okay, that item, or those items passed. All right. Is that it for the
I think we're old, new, or
Okay,
speakers.
we'll,
Want to speak?
suspend for,
We still have the mayor report.
I was going to, okay, you know what? Mr. Mayor, you ready now? We need to. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was just saying we got through the agenda. Yes, sir. And then after the mayor's report, we're going to have a couple of presentations. One by Councilor Hilliard has one. There might be a couple others.
Mr.
Good
President.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to the council, and good morning to the public. I'll be very brief. Want to remind everybody that City Hall is closed Wednesday, January 1st. There will be no trash or brush pickup, but all other city services, emergency services such as police, fire, 911 will still be active, but everything else, City Hall including, will be closed. In addition to that, I hope everyone had a great Christmas with their family. 2 more notes. The Birmingham Bowl will be held this Thursday, January 2nd at 2 p.m. at Legion Field. And then the last note, Mr. President and Council, there is no such thing as celebratory gunfire. Any form of gunfire is the opposite of celebratory. So our police will be very active. Our shot spotters will be alert and active, and we look forward to clamping down on anything that is out of hand or doesn't, I guess, comport with people being safe on New Year's. Last note, I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
All right, are there any, do I have any comments, questions for the mayors? We're good? Council
One
Hoyt?
more note, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
It's thank yous. This past Saturday, I got a chance to spend some time in the Hillman neighborhood. Some things were brought to our attention. They were already on our radar, but resurfaced. I want to start with thanking Councilwoman Bourdine Alexander, who represents this neighborhood that's in District 7, Deep Southwest Birmingham. I want to thank Walt Givens and his entire team. They had a crew out there probably for a minimum of 5 hours Saturday in this neighborhood. I want to thank Alice Williams as well as Kelvin Datcher on my team for also being out there and engaging the residents for some things we needed to do to assist those residents in that area. So I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to go to Council Abbott, and then President Pro Tem Alexander has, yes, ma'am?
If she
No.
has more, she can finish.
No, you can.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, a few weeks ago, I brought up the topic that we have people who are no longer bagging their leaves. They just blow them out into the street and leave them, and then they clog up the sewers when it rains. And my neighborhood is chock-a-block with people who are doing that now because the city picks up leaves whether they're bagged or not. And I want to know what we're going to do about it. Because if the city has decided that we're going to send guys out with rakes and have them clean up everybody's leaves out of the street, that seems very wasteful. But if we don't tell our citizens that we're not picking up their leaves unless they bag them and that blowing them into the street and leaving them there is illegal, then they're never going to quit doing it. So I'm just wanting to know if we have a plan of what we're going to do to address the issue.
Yes, ma'am. So
Because I know it's not just my neighborhood. I promise I know that.
the plan is to over-communicate to our residents through all our communication channels that if they want their leaves picked up, they have to be in the bag. But I think we also know that if we don't pick them up, there's this balance we have. If we don't pick them up, you're going to get the complaints. I'm going to get the complaints that the city's not doing its job. Even if people know what the law is, which we will continue to overstate and overshare with our residents. But we try to strike some balance of if folks aren't doing it and if they are blowing them in the street and we don't see it, it's kind of hard to enforce or hold someone accountable at the same time. It doesn't mean we're going to leave that in our streets. We will clean it up. So we just have to find a balance.
Can we give citations? Can we do something? I mean, is there actually something we can do about it, or do we just have to just put up with it?
The current law is isolated to states. It doesn't state some form of a penalty. It simply states that for the city to pick up leaves, they must be in the actual bag. So I think we will have to look into increase.
Changing the law?
I think we're open to that. I think the carrot approach can work too. I think we should overshare and over-communicate that, whether through its next door, neighborhood meetings, our email lists, a leaf drop at doors, reminding our residents that for the city to pick up your leaves, please place them in the trash bag. If you don't, they will remain in your yard.
Well, if we could get some leaflets, we would be glad to drop them off at the offending people's homes, because a lot of it is slumlords, and you're not communicating with them. Nobody's communicating with them because they don't look at our website or our emails or our, I mean, they're just taking care of their own little business by blowing everything out into the street or raking it.
I think there's a way to communicate with them as well.
Yeah, well, it's a real problem, and our sewers are all clogged up with leaves, and, it's just frustrating to watch them doing it, and nothing happens. It's just frustrating.
I'll be sure to enlist your help in engaging your leaders of your neighborhoods as well as your residents and your district around promoting what the law states and what the rule is around leaves.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, real quick, and I'm going to think, Councilor Hort, you're next, but I think, Mr. Mayor, if we could do as part of our work sessions is to have a more, because I know the street sweepers, all that came up a couple of weeks ago, that we could maybe have a more overall approach to everything with street sweepers and everything else, if we could work through that in a meeting at the first of the year as part of one of our committee meetings.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Is that, Councilor Abbott, that's?
Yes, the
And I think it'll be
summary disposition list needs to be modified to add some additional fines for people who just don't pay attention. That will be after the carrots are all used up.
Okay, but what I'm saying is let's just have
Yes.
a larger conversation around, because I think that's citywide, so we could just have a larger conversation about that in January. Okay. Councilor Hoyt, did you have?
Yeah, I want to thank Councilor Abbott for bringing that issue up with the leaves. I mean, I'm having to pay extra. My yard man generally doesn't come back from November until early spring and what have you to do the yard, and I've had to spend in excess of $300-something because he was just there last week before Christmas, and leaves are back because my neighbor don't pick up her leaves, and all this mess comes right down where I've cleaned and had to pay somebody to fix up. So if you want to, you can start right in back of me. That neighbor on the same corner I'm on, in back of me. And maybe, Councilor Abbott, since we own this planning committee, maybe we could start, dealing with that and coming up with an ordinance to deal with it, because it is causing us more problem than we really think. When those leaves get into the sewer system and all that stuff. So not the sewer, but the
Storm sewers.
storm sewers, and so and it's ridiculous, and it's not fair for those of us who put our. As a matter of fact, my yard man don't put leaves even in the bags on my even on my street. He take them with him, and that's what they should do, and what have you. But I just wish that everybody would do that, and we'll have a clean neighborhood at some point.
Okay, all right. Well, Councilor Hoyt, I think us having the larger conversation, a larger meeting with a full scope of presentation, so we'll know the areas so we can get information on a lot of different things that connects to the whole street sweepers and everything. I'm just trying to make sure that's a conversation everyone's ready to have. Councilor Hoyt, is that?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, thank you. All righty. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you very much. I did want to piggyback on the comments, not only about the leaves and things like that, but I want to thank the mayor, and I want to thank Mr. Gibbons and Public Works for the call to action in the Hillman neighborhood. I've had residents to call, and they were very excited. They had an opportunity to talk with you, Mr. Mayor, so thank you. They were very, very happy to see that work done. One of the things that bothers me, as well as the leaves, is the illegal dumping in our neighborhoods, and a lot of it that we even saw in Hillman is contractors who do work, and they either dump that debris in our neighborhoods or they leave it after they perform work. And just being sure that everyone is aware that when you contract with someone, they should take those items with them instead of leaving them there just for the city to pick up. So I did want to thank you all for the work that you did there in Hillman. And there was some litter patrol as well, and I saw that along the roads, Sydney and Venus. We know these scooters, so thank you very much. We appreciate that in District 7.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President, I would point out that Public Works doesn't pick up contractor refuse. And so it sits there until people start to complain. And I caught some people dumping in my neighborhood, and I stopped them, and I took photographs of their car tag and of them, and I told them if they didn't clean it up and put it back in their truck, I was going to call the police. But I'm not sure what the police would have done with them if I had called them, because illegal dumping, you know, people in my neighborhood, there's stuff dumped all over. If they find a vacant lot, there are not a lot of vacant lots, but they will dump their contractor refuse on the vacant lot and drive away as quickly as possible. And I just happened to catch them. And I still have the photographs of them in my phone in case they come back. But Public Works doesn't pick up contractor refuse because it might have nails and glass and other hurtful things in it. So it does cause a problem. And then, as the mayor says, as people complain louder and louder, then they come and pick it up anyway with the nails and the glass and the possible hurtful things. So the citizens get it coming and going.
Okay. Councilor Smithman, you good? Okay.
So I think that's a part of the bigger conversation the mayor's office is going to have with us. I know I'm not allowed to say too much, but I want everybody to know that that is a goal of the council and the mayor's office for 2020 is to address that. And luckily for you, you have nice residents, because when my dad and I try to do that, the guy threw the glass at our car. So I don't think I'll be doing that in the future. But I think there should be ways that we can do it without people getting harmed or, you know, someone being punished for, I guess, snitching. So.
All right. Nothing else? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Hilliard?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I really appreciate that. At this time, I want to ask Ms. Tammy Cawthon to come forward, and we have a video that's queued up. We were able to go out and tour her beautiful transformational mental clinic in Inchley area, and I want them to kind of give us cue that video up, and let's just take a look at it. If you have something you want to be passed out, AJ, you can help her. This is a spectacular place. It's a dream and a vision that I know that has just been lurking in your brain for a long time, and now you just brought it to life. So give us a kind of overview of your dream and how all of this came about.
Well, basically, I have been doing social work at Gateway for 12 years, and then I went and got a master's in counseling, and so I got my master's degree in 2002. So after I got my master's degree, I went on and decided to do school counseling. I did school counseling for 12 years, but at the same time, I had a private practice, the TC Counseling Consulting Services, where I was providing in-home services through clients through DHR. So my dream started with providing services with clients through counseling, and now I have decided to open the TC Transformational Center here in Inslee, Alabama, to provide more variety of services throughout the community.
So tell us, do you see children, adults? Tell us how your services work.
So we service children and adults, and we service clients that have Medicaid, Blue Cross. We take all types of insurance. We even do self-pay. And if you can't afford our services, we'll be happy to do a sliding scale fee with you to provide services to you. So basically what we want to do is we want to stop the stigma of mental health. We want people to be able to come and get the help that they need. And sometimes people need to understand that sometimes you just need to talk to someone. And when you talk to someone, you feel better, and you're not carrying all that around. It's not making you angry. It's not making you feel like you're worthless. Sometimes we can talk to the pastor about it. But sometimes, you know, we pray about it and we don't want to talk to anybody about it. But I want people to realize that this is a safe place and everything is confidential, and that you can also talk to your pastor, but you can also talk to a mental health professional too that's licensed.
We have so much type drama going on when it comes to mental health and mental illness that I think we need to get around. I just attended a march where the kid was killed by the gunfire between family members. That's a lot of counseling right there in that area. You know, police officers are getting killed all the time. That's another psychological thing that has to be dealt with. And just with our own daily use of our family and raising children is not an easy thing. So how do you handle some of those things?
So basically what we need to realize is that sometimes our environment are just so dysfunctional that we think that it's normal. And then when we realize that this is not normal behavior, it does create some type of trauma when you go out and realize that this is not the way I should handle conflicts. I really need to learn how to manage my anger. I need conflict resolution skills. I need to be able to talk to people when I get upset so that I'm not exploding, so that I'm not pulling out a gun. You know, a lot of times people need to realize is that if you learn how to communicate and you learn how to resolve conflicts, then you will be a better person. I'm just so excited to be able to bring this dream and vision to Ensley. I could not think of anywhere else in Birmingham to put this vision but here. And Ensley is a place that needs these services because we need to know that services are available and also that we have services that people can relate to.
Wow. Thank you. I would like to give her a chance to say something, then I'm going to follow her up. Go right ahead.
All right. To the mayor, to the council, and thank you, Councilor Hilliard, for coming out and visiting
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you pull the microphone down so we can...
I forgot I'm short.
No.
All right. Thank you for coming out to visit the TC Transformational Center. I am Tammy Cawthon, the CEO of TC Counseling. And my mission is to stop the stigma against mental health. So in 2019, I decided to become a full-time counselor and decided to pursue my business full-time. And that's when I opened the TC Transformational Center. Some of you are familiar with the center. It used to be the former Oakmont Center in Ensley. And I was able to buy the building in June from Dr. Porterfield. So we're super excited to bring this to Ensley and to all 99 communities and be able to provide counseling just to try to help people learn how to communicate better, handle their anger, because a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people have experienced childhood trauma and it's leading to adult trauma. And we're just so excited to be able to provide this service.
Wow. Well, first of all, let me say this. You have to see it to really see justice. This facility is so phenomenal. I was breathtaking. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to come and see this and view this and sit with you. I just implore all my colleagues and others throughout City Hall to please go and see her facility. It's just not only a counseling center, it's an event center. She has rooms with television and the very latest technology known. It's technology to the very end. To Councilman Smitherman, this is your Sarah. I recognize that when I moved through the building and I could see it. I just asked her, I said, you're Delta? She said, absolutely. And I could see it through her building. It was just absolutely beautiful. And that's something the council has been talking about when it comes to mental health. We've all dealt with it, so we all understand, and we have it throughout our city and our community, and we do have to move the stigma so that we can continue to get people help that really needs help. So thank you so much for coming, and if my other colleagues have any questions, you go right ahead and ask her.
And I'd like to say the grand opening is on January the 25th from 1 to 3. If you can make it, we'll love to have you. But if you'd like to come out before then, just let me know.
Ms. Abbott, did you have, or I just saw Councilor Hort. Go ahead, Councilor Hort.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I didn't see the speakers up here, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me thank you. This is really a great facility. I remember when Dr. Porterfield built this building, spent about $500,000 in building that building, and so to see it being used for what he intended for it to be used for. He's my mentor for many, many years when he was a professor at UAB for many years or so, sociologist. And I'm just glad to know that you're there and that you are doing this great work, because certainly mental illness, as I tell people, no one chooses it. It chooses them. And so, but the services are so needed in our community, because when I go in and out of the courts as an advocate, we see that a lot of these young men and women suffer from mental illness and might be contributing to their behavior and what have you. But to have a facility like that in our, and matter of fact, council, she belongs to me. This is my district.
I knew that. I was going to tell you.
I belong to everyone.
It does belong to you.
Yeah. But Council Holt, that is so true. Dr. Porterfield was actually my first job. I worked for him for only 2 short months. But when he reached out to me in May, he wanted someone that could carry that vision.
Yeah.
So he did come by since I remodeled, and he is super excited because I think for him to have closure, and like you
Yes.
say, he spent so much money, he wanted
Right.
to know that it was someone that was going to take care of his vision.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Councilor Smith?
So I want to tell you thank you because you are right. The Black community and people of color, we don't get services for mental health just because of the stigma or being labeled crazy or anything like that. And Council Hoyt, there is no might. That is the reason why people go to jail. And prisons are being used for mental health holding places. So I think just the start of that would help almost bring down the crime as well, because we can address the underlying cause of why people may be committing crime or murders and different things like that. And then secondly, do you have any plans for expanding? Because I know we have a homelessness issue, and a lot of people that are homeless, they're perfectly fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. A lot of them have masters, bachelors, a lot of doctors, but a lot of times they have mental health issues. So maybe that's an idea that you could use to help the homeless, even if it's just like community service. I think it would help. So what are your plans?
Well, my plan really and truly when I started, like I said, I was just kind of doing this part-time. But I saw the need, and I really knew that God had a bigger plan for me. So I really can't say if I plan to expand to do that, but you just never know where the vision may go. And with the center, I just look at it that it's going to eventually open so many other doors of services. So if we can find out a way to service those clients, that would be ideal.
Okay, if you are interested, I would like to help you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Everybody good?
Councilman Hoyt, when we get ready to go out, would you step out and take pictures with us, please, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
My
but just
last
remember
comment,
we
Mr.
need to-
President.
Yes?
Yeah. Well,
remember,
and
We're slow on the corner.
let us know how we can help you, because we see it every day in the Birmingham school system. You know, if there's a need to have a specific program that engages our young people and what have you, because we just, matter of fact, I just participated in a program where we were doing stuffed animals and what have you, and with Martez Files, right? And I thought that was a great exercise, but obviously there have been some folks who've been identified, and so if we can try to help those young people meander through the school system and what have you, then let us know if there's a proposal that you're looking at or whatever. But we want to be able to help with that.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm looking for the help. I can't do it by myself.
Right.
And you know, it's so much you can do with mental health, and we can help so many people if people feel that they can talk to us and that they can trust us. And like you say, it can reduce crime. It can get people to be on the right path. Because my motto is transforming lives, changing people, and we really want their lives to be transformed. So when I did the center with the quotes on the wall, I wanted people to come in, and I wanted them to leave with at least one positive thought in their mind.
Good.
All right. Anyone else? I wanted to say one last thing. We're going to have a committee meeting, a work session in January, and we'd like to invite you so we can talk a little bit more in depth. I think this is something that everyone's been talking about, to figure out how we can have a partnership and work together. So we'll coordinate the dates and have you as part of our conversation on how we move forward.
I love to attend.
Okay, it'll be in January, maybe the first. We'll get you the dates in plenty of time to have you on the agenda.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
Counselor,
step out, and then, so we don't mess up the quorum, then I'll come back, and then Councilman.
we'll still have a no. Both of y'all can go. We'll still have a quorum. I just want to make sure y'all come back though shortly. All right.
You don't want them to miss the fun, do you?
No. Okay. All right. Councilor Abbott, do you want to talk about our event this weekend, or just wait till the very end? Under.
Oh, you mean at the Jimmy Hale
Yes,
Mission?
ma'am. I know that you want to.
Well, yeah, I'll
Okay, you tee
mention
it
it
up.
because.
Okay, all right.
Yes, because the council had an event at the Jimmy Hale Mission to serve dinner to the gentlemen who both stay there and visit there. And Councilor Parker is very good at dishing out that cornbread dressing. And I was in charge of broccoli and cream corn. I mean, you know, I'm good at putting those things on a plate really fast. But we had an enjoyable time, and then Councilor Smitherman came, and it was inspiring to see those men who you know much about where they come from and what their challenges are, and just to see. You know, they were just like the rest of us. They're just struggling. And so it's inspiring to see that they're getting the kind of help they need. And the food looked really good. And I was impressed with that, too, because you think when you're cooking for 150 people, how great can the food be? But the food looked and smelled really good. Now, we didn't eat the food, so we don't know, but it looked good. And I know the Jimmy Hale Mission has a new leader, Mr. Coleman, and he seems to be exceedingly enthusiastic, just like his predecessor was, enthusiastic about the Jimmy Hale mission. And I was happy to be there. Okay. And the facility still looks beautiful. You know, the city donated that school to the Jimmy Hale Mission. They renovated it, added additional buildings. And the campus is just perfect. Everything looks wonderful. So time has been good to them.
Yep, I agree.
And their mission.
All right. Well, thank you. With that, we're going to move to old and new. Do we have the video? Okay, yeah. If I know this is kind of out of order, but if you have the video from our Saturday event.
So Jimmy Hale has been here part of this community for 75 years.
How you doing? Y'all doing all right, man? Y'all good? It's our pleasure.
When our clients see that people in the community are coming out, leaders in our community are taking time out of their schedule to come serve a meal, it reminds them of what we're already telling them, which is they matter. They're not throwaways of society. They're not just thrown over here in a mission. They have gifts and abilities. They matter to this world. They matter to the family, and they matter to this community.
Well, it's great. I haven't done this in a long time. The last time I did it, they made us do the cooking. So this is better. They're getting better food.
Because our goal is we want to restore them back to the community and restore them back to their families and restore them with a healthy perspective of who they are, what their gifts are, what their abilities are.
It's come out and spend some time with the men here. No problem. Thank you all for having us here and share with them during the holiday season. I think it's just, that's what the holiday spirit's about.
We are blessed with so many great givers, but if you have the ability, if you haven't given to an end-of-year charity, we'd appreciate if you went to jimmyhalemission.com and supported us to whatever degree you feel led to do.
Anyway, I want to thank everyone, Administrator Kidd, Ms. Garner, for being out there, Councilor Smitherman, and also really just the entire council as a whole, and also with the mayor and the whole team at the city here. And so just want to tell everybody thank you with that. Councilor Abbey, you want to close it out? You're good?
Do you want me to close it out with my
Yes, ma'am.
my report?
No, just on that particular matter. That's all.
I
We got to hear from
I thought you wanted me to finish out completely.
No. We got to hear from the speakers for a minute, then we'll get to that.
No, I think that I truly believe that is a great place for us to serve. It's close to downtown. It has an impact. You know, that facility has a big impact on helping the people that otherwise might be causing problems in Birmingham. And so I think Jimmy Hale does a great job, and I think that that's a great place for us to go every year.
Yes,
Maybe
ma'am.
we
We'll
should
do
do
it.
it quarterly.
We will do it when, as necessary. I'll be there, so let me know, so we can work through that. But,
We can work on our scheduling abilities.
yes,
so.
ma'am, we'll work through that. Okay, all right. If those are all the comments. We're going to suspend the rules for our speakers.
Move to suspend.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Come on, F. You?
Good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. How are you all?
Doing fine.
In the Kiswahili words of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Can you pull it? Just make sure we can hear you. No, you can stand up, but just want to make sure we can
Okay.
hear you, that's all.
In
Okay.
the principles of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, today is Nia, purpose. So I want to greet you in that term, Nia, and welcome you to come out tonight at Zeke's Carryout and celebrate this 5th day of Kwanzaa. It's good to be able to hopefully go into the new year and be seen and not viewed. That's an understatement. I'm here, and that last presentation was awesome. I want to commend the young lady, and that is part of what I'm here to talk about. Most of you council persons have gotten an email, and pardon me if I just sent it out pretty late last night. Some of you I've already talked to about the issues that I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to be brief as possible. Oftentimes, others devalue certain groups based on the behavior and miseducation that they have gotten. And those people basically have been socially engineered into a certain construct. When children engage in destructive behavior of destroying city property, especially property of historic civil rights character that all people benefit from, it indicates serious mental illness or some very bad maladjusted behaviors that could be addressed by their parents. And when their parents don't address those issues, it is willful neglect of those in power that fail to legislate corrective behavior and enforce the just laws. Now, what I'm here to talk about is that over the last few months, 4 signs have been torn down off of the Civil Rights Trail, and I don't know if Max has the pictures queued up of the people walking or not. But if you do, if you kindly show them. I want to show the trails where they're showing the buses, the bicycle tours, and the buses, bicycle tours, walking tours, van tours. Can you hear me, Max?
Okay.
Does he have them?
No.
He doesn't have it.
I know he, okay. I'll go on. On the Dynamite Hill Historic Trail, we have had tourists from various colleges, Germany, 51 passenger buses. Red Rock does two tours a day, 7 days a week. Oftentimes in the summer, it's 2 tours a day. And we've had many students from Birmingham Southern on a regular basis. And the neighborhood, all 5 neighborhood presidents that comprise the Smithfield community that impacts Mr. Quinn's district, parts of Ms. Smitherman's district, and Mr. Hilliard, my representative's district. The neighborhood went on record saying that we wanted our historic edifices preserved. This was over 3 years ago. And we wanted the center at the T.C. Wyndham building as interpretive center. And another, to me now, mental illness is that when others can come into our community that don't look like black folks, and they can come all the way from Europe, and they can find or see the historical significance in our history, but we cannot find creative, structural, or out-of-the-box ways to do whatever it takes to preserve that history. Wilkinson school children have been coming, kicking those signs down, and I was on that committee. It took us over 3 years with the work of the brilliant Renee Kemp that worked with Andy Young to put together the Olympic Park in Atlanta, to get those signs all over the city, over at Shuttlesworth Church, where these people come in for tourism and bring tourism dollars. I need you all to do what Emory Anthony came here in '91 and asked for, and I think the only two people on this council that were there, maybe Miss Albert and maybe Mr. Hort. Mr. Hort might be too young, I don't know. But, and so what I'm saying is that everybody on the council at that time gave him accolades, and I came 3 other times after that. This will be my 4th time, asking for some teeth. In a parental responsibility ordinance, Mr. Mayor, is what most progressive cities have. Atlanta has it, LA has it, I could go on with that. But they have it. And I came here with a copy of it, and they, again, just got accolades and nothing was done. You got a law department here. It's simple to take what those others did and formulate a parental responsibility ordinance, because when little criminals make big criminals. They are destroying city property, taxpayers' property. They are hurting your tourism. And so that's one thing that I came to ask for. And I would appreciate you looking into it and taking some serious efforts now that we have some younger people here, because it is your generation, your children's generation, that our grandchildren's generation, that are going to be impacted by this. Role models, and I really wish he had some of those pictures, because role models are important. I got a lot of pictures that I put up of things that and people in Smithfield.
What we're going to do is we're going to suspend the rules for like another 2 minutes. Okay. So make a motion we suspend the rules.
So move.
Thank you so much.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed?
All right, you got an additional 2 minutes. All right.
All right. The next thing is, most progressive cities have what is called a slavery disclosure ordinance. I've asked for that before. With a slavery disclosure ordinance like the Atlanta, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, this is an ordinance that is put forth for for organizations or corporations to disclose whether or not their company has participated in or gotten investments or benefit from profits derived from slavery during the era prior to 1865. Perfect examples of those institutions locally that built their mass fortune and wealth on enslavement and dehumanization of others are the Lehman Brothers out of Montgomery, Alabama. They disclosed it in Chicago when they tried to do business with Chicago. Sloss Furnace, commonly now known as ABC Coke, University of Alabama. Dutch East India Company, Lloyds of London. It's very important for us to know how this wealth was passed on, because when my grandson comes down through town, I don't see anything about A.G. Gasson except that small hotel. That was a giant man. I personally knew him. You knew him, John. Many of us knew him. Former councilors knew him. Mr. Hort may have met him. They need to be able to see and know the history beyond slavery. We had 30 dynasties that lasted almost 25,000 years. And the only thing that these children know about is slavery and civil rights, constant struggle. I need you all to act on these 2 issues that I'm asking you about. And the last one, finally, thank you, Mr. President. We need a serious recycling institution in this city. Mr. O'Quinn and Mrs. Abbott, you had a semblance of one in Southside, and I know you all know more about it than anybody. And Mr. Mayor, I've presented some proposals. Nothing has been acted on. I know that's one of your things that you're working on, but I would really like to be involved in that. And that's it. I thank you so much, and everybody have a happy and blessed New Year.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. No, I think we'll be in touch with you shortly. Okay. All righty. Next speaker.
Who next?
Yes, sir.
Doris Hardy, M. Hardy, Doris M. Hardy. Lamar, is it Mayberry?
Hey, you all here, Mr. You want to come on up together?
Okay, both are together.
Yeah, well, and they were here at our last meeting, and I think they had a meeting with,
Okay, Lucius.
with staff, I think with the mayor's staff, so I don't know. You just coming back to report to us on stuff, Mr. Mabry?
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, all right, well, take your time, take your time, take your time.
I'm gonna access that first.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to get and pull it to you so we can hear it, okay?
I'm gonna ask the council to understand to give me a little leniency. Today, I have a spinal cord injury, and every once in a while, I'm standing flat-footed to kind of act up, so if I go and sit down, then I'm gonna
Do we have a microphone if you want to do it, and we can get a chair? How do you,
No,
is
sir,
that?
I'm just saying it in case
If
it
it
does.
happens, okay,
Yes,
all right,
okay.
we'll make sure we've got a microphone right there in case you need to sit down and,
Sounds
okay,
good.
yes,
All
sir.
right.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. My name is Lamar Maybert. My address is 3308 Pearl Avenue North. That's in Birmingham. I'm
Collegeville,
I
It's
live
in
and stand in Cartersville.
yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
I'm here today, understand, to try seeking funding for some road improvement. Also, I'm here, understand, to get the roads, understand, that continue to go out. Now, my brother started this in the 60s, and it still hadn't been finished yet.
And let me help you. Let me give you some, if you want to give, it's off of Shuttlesworth Drive between Hudson School and the old Callaway School. I'm just trying to give people an idea.
Okay.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
That's good.
Okay.
Yes. And this special road is 33rd Street. It comes to Pearl and then stop. Well, everybody on the left-hand side, understand, can't get to the alleys. We built 2 houses on there, and those driveways is in the rear. So where the 33rd breaks off, then I didn't ask about anything because we took care of, understand, for 20 years, just keeping it clean. But now, understand, we're not able to do that. But the peoples, understand, on the left-hand side, they can't get in the rear of the house. Pearl Avenue is so narrow that we can't get 2 cars going, different directions. There's gonna have to be, somebody gonna have to stop. But the problem is, when it rains, nobody can't get in. They can't get there. And in order to get there, they gotta go around, and when it rains, it's really, really in bad shape. So I had reached out to some of the engineers, and they came out and laid something down pretty good, and I think, understand, if we can get that done, that will help out a whole lot.
Chief, well, I know he was here last time, so, Mr. Mayor, okay.
I spoke with them this morning, told them I look forward to hearing more about the project, but some of our senior leadership team has had extensive detailed conversation with them. How their current project of their request is not in the current sidewalk plan as far as what we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. In addition, it's not in the framework plan either. Separate from that, we estimate their requests from anywhere to $250,000 to $300,000. And so just have to find out where it fits, if it can fit, and how does cost align when you already got these priorities set for an existing plan. I think we're still open to more dialogue, though.
So, Mr. Raber, what we got to do is we have to work together, make sure we can find funding to get the project completed. And so that's a conversation we'll need to have with the mayor on identifying $200,000 or $300,000 for this particular project. Okay. So that's something that we need to, I think the engineers are going to communicate back to you, and if you'll keep me in the loop on stuff, then we can work, and so when it gets time for budget season, we can seek funding for this project.
Okay.
But I think, according to the mayor, that you're going to have some more dialogue with the engineers from planning and engineering.
Okay.
And just keep us updated as things progress.
Well,
okay. And you always come right back here in the corner right there, okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Go
Is
ahead.
that okay? Okay. Is that? Good morning, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay.
Yes, ma'am, good.
My name is Doris Hardy. I live on 3320 Pearl Avenue. And I'm having trouble with water in my driveway. I can't get out sometime. I have to wait. And then that make me late for my appointments and stuff. So I wish I can get somebody to open up a trench or something so that water wouldn't back up in the driveway and stuff.
That's part of the conversation we had, if you were here earlier, about the whole conversation, working, getting a plan from the mayor and the Public Works Department about making sure that the flow of water, not only with the leaves and everything, so I'm sure
yeah, I'm in
Chief,
Collegeville also.
I know you're across, yes ma'am, I know. All right, I'm sure Chief Sparks will have someone to meet with you and
Yes.
and just come back if things aren't moving, just come on back down and we'll make sure we address it again, okay?
Okay.
Yes,
'Cause
ma'am.
I'm tired of jumping across. Can't jump now.
I know. All right. Yes, ma'am, but I think
Okay.
Chief Sparks there will have a conversation with you. Okay.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning.
I'll be brief, just to reiterate on what Mr. Mabry and Mrs. Hardy has said and about these funds. You know, I was a little boy when they were first trying to get this road fixed. The late Mayor David Vann and then Council President Dr. Richard Arrington asked us to wait. They want to take these funds that were available for the road to help with the park and recreation departments. All our neighbors agreed. I was glad too, because I was a little boy. Going to the park made a whole lot of sense than driving down a paved road. But what I'm asking the council today is, you're not going to do it. Our road has never been fixed, never been paved. And I told you this. We don't have any curb stones nor driveways. I'm used to disappointments and being turned down. And I'm asking this council to do just that. If you're not going to do it, tell us. I can't answer you any more of that. In 2016, I got the shock of my life. I was dating this girl for quite some time. I asked her to marry me. I was prepared for a no, but she shocked me and gave me a yes. 3 weeks later, she was killed in an accident. But it lives on to me. Disappointments come. But like I said, we did all we could do. So we're waiting for an answer from you all. Thank you.
Come on back up, sir, if you don't mind. I'm sorry, Mr. President. I respect what you just said, and I'm sorry that happened. My team has been speaking with you. I guess it hasn't been long.
No.
So, but I want to be direct with you. Currently, how the...
Keep in mind, Mr. Mayor, this problem didn't just start.
Oh, you told me 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, because everybody on the council, I'm older than all of them, including you. This is just a problem that you all inherited.
Understood.
I understand it.
You said you want to answer, so I want to be able to be direct with you as possible. Currently, there is a sidewalk plan, and separate from the sidewalk plan, there is a street paving plan. Both of these plans exist over a 5-year period. I think both of them existed prior to this council and mayor's administration. And so what we do every year from a budgetary standpoint is allocate funding toward an already existing sidewalk, an already existing street plan, and fund the streets and sidewalks in the order that already exists. The request you have doesn't fall currently within that. So at the current time, there is no funding for your request. And in addition to that, it doesn't fall within the current plan. That doesn't mean we will never do it. Just means based on where we are now within the plan and where we are with funding, it's not able to be done right now.
Mr. Mayor, just before you were elected, before his mother passed away, That's one of the last promises she made to us, being in office. And I can have witnesses say to do this. She was going to fix this road. She told us it was going to be done. That's one of the last promises she made, the late Mrs. Maxine Aaron Parker. So like I said, this is not something that just popped. It's just been passed back from time to time. And like I said, you all inherited.
All right. Well, what we'll do is, outside of this meeting, I'll have some more direct dialogue with you. But I think your expectations are fair based on what you just expressed, but what we'll share with you from an elected official directly to you and others. So I'm not saying that it won't happen. I'm just saying, you're saying, will it happen or is it not going to happen? I'm not saying neither. What I am saying is, currently where we are with planning and allocating resources, it doesn't exist. But I think working with Councilor Parker, your representative, there are ways we can, we need to find out if we can be creative.
Yeah.
And if we
Yeah.
can't, we'll let you know. And if we can, we'll let you know as well.
So we're going to work, you just have more dialogue with the mayor's team, engineers. Let's continue to talk, okay?
Yeah.
And we'll talk offline. I'll see you.
Well,
I'll
Mr.
meet
Parker,
you.
what
Yes,
you're saying now in reality to the mayor, we just have to wait. That's
What we're
now.
saying is, we need to have some meetings and have some conversations in a smaller setting and work on some things. If we just need to talk, but we're not going to have the conversation at council meeting. If we could meet later.
You're saying we're dismissed?
No,
We're
I'm just
dismissed
saying
and the project
that,
is-
no. What I'm saying is simply the mayor has indicated his staff is going to work together. So we're going to continue to talk to find the funding for it. Let's see if we can find the funding. We can find the funding, then we'll see how to get the project moving. But we're not going to get it figured out today at this council meeting, and this is not the appropriate place to try to talk through strategy, look for funding. So we need to have some additional conversations, just not having it up here at council meeting. So I'm not dismissing you. I'm just simply saying we're going to continue to talk, okay, in a smaller setting.
So in other words, I have been heard.
Yes, sir. And so I've made some notes here. The mayor's made notes, and we have an open door, and we're going to continue to have conversations. I'll see Mr. Baybury in Collegeville, where we go by, and we're going to continue to talk, okay? All right? Thank you.
David Russell.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How you
First
doing?
of all, doing great. Let me say good morning to everyone, to the mayor and councilor. I hope that you all had a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. My name is David Russell, and I live at 1625 Brookfield Lane, 35214. I have basically three things. First of all, I think this is my third trip talking about this issue right here about the homeless, job fair. Now, I had the opportunity to work with the homeless. The last 2 nights we fed the homeless. The first night we had 168. The next night we had 142, I believe. These homeless folks. Now, all of these folks are not from Birmingham. These folks are all over. And the reason why I said we need to have a job fair, because when they let those prison out, they let them inmates out of prison, they give them $50 and send them to Birmingham. So this is always going to be an issue with the homeless and the crime situation. So we need to put some things in place now. First of all, I would like to see we have a job fair for the homeless. And I'll be willing to work with anybody who decides to do that. And we have ways in which we can do it. The second thing is that a couple of Sundays ago, we had a bowl called the Eddie Robinson Bowl. Now, I personally called all the medias, asked them to come out and review, our kids, to see them on television. And everything we see, not everything, 90% of the things we see in Birmingham come from our children, it's negative. So I thought this would be a positive thing to see. And I saw on television this week where Homewood, Trussville, all them schools had their kids on TV, which is a positive thing. But guess what? No one showed up. And we had celebrities out there. We had people out there. The chief of staff of the largest city in Birmingham was there coaching. We had the Parker principal and Alabama State Board of Trustees out there coaching. We had a gentleman from Chicago with Chicago Bay out there coaching. And plus, Eddie Robertson Bowl is the only bowl in the city. But we had no one. We had some city council came out there to the Legion Field. But I was disheartened, and I had talked to the media before the game, and I called them the day of the game. Now, if me, the largest city of Birmingham, the chief of staff had a fight out there, all of would have showed up. That's my point. We have to show some positive things in our children, and children are not the problem. The problem with our children are the parents, the community, now the media. Those are the problem with our children, because we never show anything positive in terms of what they are doing. I was hurt about that, really hurt. And I am going to submit a letter to all the news media, let them know that how I was dissatisfied in the way that they didn't show up in terms with our children. Let me finish, then I'll accept the question. Let me give the mayor little accolades. You know, out of all his department that he has hired, the police department are the best department that I've seen in the city of Birmingham since I've been here. I'm impressed with those guys. I mean, first of all, you got to start with anybody with attitude first. They have done an excellent job, but there's nothing they gonna do until we do something about these homeless folks. They are from all over, and these folks have degrees. Bessemer, all around. Everybody come to Birmingham. So I'm hoping that someone, even the mayor, will have a job fair for us, because we need to start that and to do that. And the last thing is that we got to do something about the census report. This is how the city of Birmingham get their federal dollar, through the census. And we need to count everybody, the homeless, people in the hospital, people that gonna have babies. All them folks need to be counted, because you need to get your numbers up so you can get your federal dollars.
Okay, a couple of things, Mr. Russell. I'll take them in order. As relates to the Eddie Robinson, also we had the other youth down.
Papa David, yeah, both of them.
What we will do, we'll work together, we'll work with the park board, and we'll follow up on that as far as the whole. I think we can wrap our arms around that and address that as far as, you know, celebrating what they did with cheerleaders as well. So we can work on that. As it relates to the second thing you mentioned about the census, there will be a new committee formed from the council, so I can announce that. I will announce the members shortly, and I know the mayor has task force going on, but the council will form a special committee not only to make sure that everyone is counted in April, but also as far as with the redrawing of the lines for the council districts, and that falls in the purview of the council. So we'll be making that announcement shortly, and we will work together with the mayor's office, community stakeholders, to make sure that every person is counted in April, and we'll I'm sure have a very aggressive campaign, including everyone, to make sure that we have everyone is voted and understand the importance of what it means to be counted as relates to federal funding and other opportunities that presents, to make sure that everyone is counted in April. So we'll have more to say on that next week, so stay tuned for that.
First of all, I really appreciate you all giving me the opportunity, because I really don't see the council meeting today, and the young lady plugged me in, and I appreciate that. Okay. And this is what we got to show, that, you know, everything is not straight in line all the time. Sometimes we have to work with our folks. Then again, I appreciate it. And Mayor, again, I want you to know that your police department is the most improvement department that you have in the city. Attitude, start number attitude first. And I see them in my community. I live in Smithfield Estate. I live on Brookfield Lane. I see them riding the city, and that's important. And they'll, even when I'm out in the yard, they'll stop and talk. You know, I am the block captain over there, and they stop and talk, and that's what it's all about. Now, one thing I had mentioned to the chief, I would love to see him do.
Mr. Russell,
Okay,
Mr. Russell,
okay, thank you.
You're responding to a question, so let's.
Okay, right. Well, let me
it's
finish,
New
then I'll be
Year.
through. Okay, thank you.
All right.
One other thing I would like to see the chief to do is to bring the policemen in the city, let them live in the city, give them a car, get them a little stifle, live in the city. Because the city of Memphis, Chicago, Atlanta, and a few other cities, they have all their policemen that live in the city. And I think that was cut down crime. Again, you all have a Merry Christmas and a happy, 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 happy New Year.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, ready for our old news business. Council Hilliard, District 9 time, you ready?
Yes, sir. We're always ready.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I would like to thank my colleagues, the President, for coming out to the Realtors reception the other day. That was very impressive that our President will show up and meet the National President of the Realtors Group. I also would like to thank our Pro Tem, Councilman Wardeen, and also Councilman Hoyt, that they attended the other day, and Councilman Hoyt did an awesome job and representing the council there, and I really appreciate that. It was an awesome time. Last night was phenomenal. The Realtors had their annual dinner, and it was just absolutely beautiful. So I really want to thank them for coming out. I put out calls to a few other people, and I guess we kind of missed each other because they called me really around last minute, but I wanted to make sure they was. I think I talked to my colleague Woods, and he had the flu, y'all, so he's been kind of under the weather. I know he told me that, and I didn't know whether he would be able to come out. But the Sherman Heights neighborhood will have their neighborhood meeting on Monday, January the 6th at 5:30 p.m. at the Morning Star Baptist Church. Of course, we had the Transformational Center here. I want to wish everybody a happy new year, and it has just been awesome to be serving in this great city with such great people. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Hoyt?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I did want to acknowledge the homecoming of Miss Eva Flowers Bale. This is the stepmother of our former mayor, William Bale, and Michael Bale. And so her services are today at St. John AME Church downtown. And so she will be sorely missed. My wife just happened to be a member of an organization that she helped to found and a part of Club Excelsis. And so it's just a joy to know that she's lived the kind of life that she's lived, and certainly has impacted a lot of different folk in this community. And so we just want to say to the family, we want to express our condolences to them, and just want the council to know that. I don't know if everyone knew that, but they mentioned her on Saturday, the annual Club Excelsis scholarship banquet, and so just wanted to express that. I'm still concerned about our neighborhoods, the condition of our neighborhoods. I hadn't seen the street sweeper, and I think many of us share that same sentiment. And I'm concerned that crime is peaking, and in as much as we appreciate what the police do to capture those persons, what have you, crime is still out of control. And certainly want to appreciate the mayor for including me in his text message about what happened in Vinesville over the holiday. And so, but the issue is we still, we need a plan, Mr. President. I don't know how what's the plan? How do we reduce crime? And I want to say that when we are intentional as a city, downtown crime rate has gone down, I know, because we've intentionally revitalized downtown. Well, if we did the same thing west of 65, northwest of 65, and north of 65, and West End, then we could experience a downturn in the crime, because if the place doesn't look like anybody cares, and if it's blighted, like most of these areas are, then crime's going to continue to escalate, because it looks like nobody cares. And we just want our city to care about all of its citizens and not just some. There needs to be a real plan on how we revitalize these communities, as we have done with Woodlawn. We've done it with Southside and downtown, but outside of that, there have not been any real development. And the city has to be intentional in terms of how it incentivizes these areas. We've created these opportunity zones, but I don't think we're maximizing on them. And so what is the plan to recruit these developers and other folks to these particular areas? And the ones we got, developers we got, we need to incentivize them so they can continue to offer some sense of rebirth with respect to these various developments. I just think that's what we have to do, Mr. Mayor. I mean, Mr. President.
Don't do that now. Don't do that. All right, Councilor. We get the drift. We got it.
Okay.
I made notes of.
Yeah, I need more than a drift.
No, we
need a plan.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, just like the list we had on the street sweepers and the issue with the issues that Councilor Abbott and others have brought up, we need to add that to our list of things. As we get into the new year, I want everybody to enjoy the holidays, but realizing that once we get back in January, we have a lot of issues to deal with, and we've got a meeting with the delegation. We're going to need to have some work sessions where we get updates on a various amount of issues. The World Games is one, the BJCC is another one, street sweepers, how do we, the whole public works, so that's another issue. Councilor Hoyt, you brought up about the plan for crime, so we're going to need to roll up our sleeves and get ready once the first of the year starts. So I've taken notes, subject items that we need to handle in January, Councilor Hoyt, and I hear you. And we're going to make sure the census, all of that, we're going to be working on that and working along with the mayor and his team as well, and the stakeholders throughout the community. So is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. All right. And if we're not doing it, I'm sure you will call me out on it.
No, sir, I won't do that.
Yes, you will.
He knows you, Hoyt.
Councilor Smitherman.
It depends on what day it is.
I know, but that's okay. All right, Councilor Smitherman.
Thank you, President Parker. I only have one announcement. Public Improvements Committee meeting will be next Tuesday, January 7th at 2 p.m. in Conference Room A. And I just want to wish everybody happy holidays, happy New Year. Let's be safe, and thank you.
Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, the first thing I have to say is happy birthday to my mother, who is 97 years old today. And so I want to wish...
Happy birthday to her? Councilor Hoyt?
Since we have a few people on the council who actually can sing, that's great. I always turn off my microphone so no one will be offended. But my mom is 97 years old today, and she's still getting around and doing all her stuff, and that's a blessing in itself, because at 97, most people aren't even here anymore, and then if they are, they're in a home or something, and she's not, she's in her home.
That's awesome.
And I think that that's wonderful, so I want to wish her happy birthday.
Okay.
So, the World Games are coming to town, and we must be ready, and I do feel confidence that with Nick Sellers in charge, that we are definitely heading in a better direction. But, you know, the citizens of Birmingham need to be ready, because we want to put our game face on, and we want to act as volunteers. You know, they need volunteers, lots and lots of them. So there are going to be lots of things for just regular folks to do, in addition to what has to be done by the people who are raising the money and figuring out the transportation and housing and venues and all that. So, but I have faith that it's coming, but we all need to pitch in. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas, and I know everybody's looking forward to a new year. I'm just happy that it's going to be 2020, and it'll be easy to remember when you write it on your checks. The event at the Jimmy Hale Mission was excellent, and I do think that doing that every once in a while kind of brings you back down to earth, all the little stuff that you're worried about. And you have a home and all these other things. Of course, that's part of what you're worried about, but anyway, it does bring you back to the fact that everyone doesn't have the things we have. And heaven knows drugs and alcohol can get you in more trouble than anything. So it does make you think, make you count your blessings. So the next Budget and Finance meeting will be held on Monday, January the 13th. At 3:30 p.m. Now, y'all, that is a long way away. Everyone can get their act together to get their items turned in for Budget and Finance when you have until January the 8th to turn it in. So I'm hopeful that everyone will get their items in on time. January the 8th. Now, today is the 30th of December. That's a lot of time for everyone to get their items turned in. So tonight, the 5 Points South and Crestwood South neighborhood associations have canceled their meetings, so there are no meetings tonight. And next Monday, Glen Iris meets, that's January the 6th, and next Tuesday, January the 7th, Forest Park South Avondale meets. And I hope everyone has a wonderful 2019 and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Dr. O'Quinn?
Good morning. I want to start by thanking Mr. Africa for coming and speaking with us this morning, and his continued advocacy in the Smithfield community. I actually did look up in the state code with regard to parental responsibility laws, and state code actually allows up to $1,000 fine for property damage by minors. So that's something that we can perhaps pursue as it relates to the vandalism that's occurred with the Civil Rights Trail signs. In District 5, we have no neighborhood meetings in the next week. And I want to say Happy New Year to all the folks in District 5. Happy Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and Christmas. And in Louisiana, we celebrated Christmas this year by beating up on Oklahoma. So go Tigers. And we're looking to meet up with some other Tigers here in a week or so.
All right. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I do want to read District 1 announcements, and as has been noted, Councilor Woods, I believe, has the flu, so we just want to keep Councilor Woods in our prayers, and we hope he has a speedy recovery. The announcements are: get a jump start on those 2020 fitness goals. Fitness First classes hosted by Tailored Fitness will resume on tomorrow, Tuesday, December 31st at 6 a.m. Classes are held at Calvary Resurrection Christian Church every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. So Councilor Woods is trying to keep everyone healthy with offering these fitness goals. Neighborhood meetings in the district. Spring Lake Neighborhood Association meeting will be held Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Springville Road Library. For the District 7 announcements, we do have one neighborhood meeting this week. That is Friday, January 3rd, 4 p.m. Jones Valley neighborhood will meet at Powderly Library. As chairperson of the Utilities Committee, I'm announcing that we do have 7 vacancies for the Birmingham Cable Commission. All interested applicants should submit their resumes for attention to, and we'll put this on the website. But if you're interested, you should send those resumes by 5 p.m. on Monday, January 20th, to Isola Hall, Birmingham City Council, District 7, and the address is 710 North 20th Street, Birmingham, 35203, or you can email those to isola.hall@birminghamal.gov. If you have any questions or additional information, you can also call 205-252-2498. And I just want to wish everyone happy holidays, Happy New Year. I am continued to be humbled to be able to serve District 7, and I am truly blessed to have that opportunity. And so I thank each of you in District 7 for the work that we have ahead for us. We are planning on a great new year, and so I thank my counselors as well. So Happy New Year.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, we want to wish Councilor Woods back here next week. So anyway, yes, sir.
Yeah, I had meant to do that. I didn't write anything down, but I want to say last night was really wonderful. The counselor is so kind to talk about me, but he represented the city very well with his group of colleagues, the realtors. I learned a new term last night, and what I learned is the realtors was developed because they could not be realtors, and they would not invite them into their organization. And so in 1947, they created this National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And I was just really fascinated by the history, and to know that one of our own in Birmingham was one of the founding members. And of course, I want to say kudos to Marcus Brown, who has, for all practical purposes, resurrected the National Association of Real Estate Brokers and what have you. There was a wonderful dinner raising money for the young folk, and so and the council was sharp too. He had because their colors are blue and white, and so he was. You know he was ready, don't you? Okay. And Council President Pro Tem was also in attendance, sharp as usual. Maybe one of these days, we'll have a rummage sale, and I could pay off my house with all them gowns you got. So, but she is doing an excellent job of representing us as well, and so we appreciate that. But I did have a great evening last night, and it was just wonderful. The place was transformed, and so it was really nice. Was it 1819? Is that the catering company? Those young men did an excellent job, and just happened to be the brothers of Mr. Marcus Brown. So got a family of entrepreneurs, really. And so we say kudos to he and the entire organization, particularly the Birmingham chapter, and Mr. Donnell Williams, who is a national person who really had a short speech but very powerful because he asked some questions that we need to adhere to. And let me say to the realtors and to the realtors, if you don't have a thriving housing market, then we don't have a thriving economy. Okay, and so much is to be said about you all and the year that we've had, you all have had with respect to selling and buying homes and what have you. And so it makes a difference. It stabilizes the economy. And was just a few years ago where the stock market crash and all that was because of the housing market. And so now it's on an upswing, and so we really appreciate the work that you all are doing. Yeah.
I want to also echo Councilor Hilliard sharing with you all on Saturday evening, and also just the fact that they're doing a great job, but also we've had conversations of working with the Convention and Visitors Bureau and others to get them to have a greater presence on the national level here. So, yes, sir. All right, so we'll be working on that. Do you have something else to say?
Thank you, Councilman Parker, and thank you also, Councilman Hort. One of the main purposes is that we would like to have their regional, their national here in the future, and they also have agreed to have one of their committee national meetings here. So the goal is to bring them back to Birmingham, get some real economic development out of their national. I think they're going to be in Vegas in February. I'll be in attendance of that for their regional convention.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, good. Couple of things. Wanted to, I guess, pass along that one of our corporate leaders within the state of Alabama, and civic leaders, Mr. Elmer Harris, passed away, and so I think he was, a trailblazer beyond belief, and so definitely want to offer our condolences there for the Harris family. Also, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Dan Ireland, you remember him?
I do remember. I remember
from
that
the
as well.
legislature.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he passed away too. I kind of realized that. Yeah.
Anyway, yes, ma'am.
One other thing, I misspoke. The Glen Iris neighborhood meeting for January has been canceled.
Okay.
So it's not next Monday, and I don't want anybody to go to the meeting and be disappointed, so.
It's canceled.
It's canceled, yes.
All right, cool. I want to thank Officers Wesley and Purifoy for being with us today. So I want to appreciate that. I see some of our neighborhood leaders here. So thank you all for coming. Also, before we adjourn, I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I do have quick travel requests that we need to approve for Mr. McDaniels, Ms. Kidd, and myself for meetings next Monday in Washington, D.C. This is something that happened within the last couple of days and need approval.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that's for UC.
Yes.
Let's need to pass the action.
Okay, we need to pass the item.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay, thank you all with that. With that, any other announcements or anything? Want
Is
to wish
there a
everyone?
football game this week?
Yes, ma'am. Well, there is one Thursday.
I thought you might want to say
Well, I thought
something.
everybody had mentioned it before, so I mean, Cincinnati
but you're
versus.
the guy.
I know, well, but it's been mentioned before, so it's Cincinnati versus Boston College, and we want to wish everyone to come out on Thursday, 2 o'clock. Thursday at 2 o'clock, it's the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl at Legion Field, Thursday, 2 p.m. So anyway, looking forward to a great game. Yes, sir. And it will be on ESPN, nationally televised. So, anyway, so I think it will be great for us here. Great exposure for the city of Birmingham. With that, wish everyone a Happy New Year. We'll be ready to work first of the year. And with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye. Happy New Year.
Thank you.